Many seniors believe that once Social Security sends their payment, the money simply appears in their bank account, and that's the end of the story. But what many people don't realize is that there's actually another step in the process that can affect when your money shows up. And recently, some banking policy adjustments have started changing how those deposits are reviewed and processed. Before going deeper, it helps to start with something personal. A few months ago, my own father experienced something that a lot of retirees quietly go through but rarely talk about. My dad has been receiving Social Security retirement benefits for years. Like many seniors, he plans his entire month around that deposit. The mortgage, groceries, medications, utilities, everything depends on that payment arriving on time. But one morning, he checked his account, and the money wasn't there. The date was right. Social Security had already issued the payment, but the account balance hadn't changed. You can imagine how that felt for someone living on a fixed income. Even a short delay can feel like the ground shifting beneath your feet. My dad started wondering if something was wrong with his benefit, if there was a mistake, or if his payment had somehow been stopped. It turned out the Social Security Administration had actually sent the money exactly on time. The delay was happening inside the bank's processing system. This is where many people get confused. So, let me explain why this matters and how the system actually works. When Social Security issues a payment, the funds don't go directly from the Social Security Administration to your personal bank account. The process goes through several steps behind the scenes. First, the payment is authorized through the U.S. Treasury. Then it moves through the Federal Reserve's electronic payment network. After that, it is routed to your bank using the routing number tied to your account. Only after your bank receives that electronic deposit does the bank place the money into your account balance. And that final step is where recent banking policy adjustments can sometimes affect timing. Over the past few years, banks across the country have strengthened their fraud detection systems. Identity theft and financial scams targeting seniors have increased dramatically, and financial institutions have responded by tightening verification checks on certain deposits. These systems are designed to protect customers, but occasionally they can slow down deposits while a transaction is being verified. For example, if an account recently changed information, maybe a new phone number, a new mailing address, or a new login device, some banks automatically flag large incoming deposits for review. Federal benefit deposits, including Social Security payments, can sometimes trigger those automated checks. Another situation involves new bank accounts. Many retirees switch banks to get better customer service or lower fees. But when a Social Security deposit is sent to a newly opened account, the bank's security system may briefly review the first few incoming deposits to make sure everything matches the account holder's identity. Again, this doesn't mean the money is gone. It simply means the bank's internal system is confirming the deposit before releasing it to the account. That's exactly what happened in my dad's situation. His bank had recently updated its fraud monitoring system. The deposit came in overnight, but the system placed a temporary verification check on the transaction. By late afternoon, the funds appeared in his account exactly as expected. But those several hours of uncertainty felt much longer. And this situation highlights something very important that many seniors don't realize. A payment delay doesn't always mean Social Security did something wrong. Sometimes the payment is already in the banking system and just hasn't cleared the final processing step yet. Now, let's talk about some of the most common situations that can trigger these banking reviews. One of the biggest triggers is changes to account information. If you recently updated your bank account with Social Security, changed your routing number, or switched financial institutions, the first few deposits may take slightly longer to appear while the bank verifies everything. Another trigger involves account closures. If an account was closed or restricted before the payment arrived, the deposit may be returned to the Treasury. When that happens, Social Security has to reissue the payment to the correct account, which can take additional processing time. Identity verification systems are another factor. Banks are under increasing pressure to detect suspicious activity, especially when federal payments are involved. Automated monitoring tools look for patterns that don't match normal account behavior. For instance, if someone rarely logs into their account, and suddenly there are multiple login attempts or unusual activity, the system may temporarily review incoming deposits. Again, these systems are meant to protect you. But when they activate, they can create confusion if someone is expecting their Social Security payment that morning. Let me explain something important that can help reduce stress if this ever happens to you. When Social Security sends your payment, it is documented and tracked electronically through the Treasury payment system. That means the payment itself doesn't disappear. It moves through the financial network until it reaches the receiving bank. If the bank is reviewing the deposit, the funds are still within the banking system. They just haven't been credited to the account balance yet. Most of these reviews resolve within a few hours or by the next business day. However, understanding this process can help prevent unnecessary panic if the payment doesn't appear immediately in the morning. Another reason payments may appear later in the day involves internal bank posting schedules. Some banks release federal deposits early in the morning. Others update accounts later in the afternoon after processing overnight transactions. That's why two people receiving Social Security on the same day can sometimes see their deposits at different times depending on the bank they use. Here's what this means for you. Your Social Security benefit itself is not being reduced by these bank policy adjustments. The amount of your monthly benefit remains exactly what the Social Security Administration calculates based on your work history and eligibility. But the timing of when that deposit becomes visible in your account can sometimes depend on how your bank processes incoming federal payments. And as banks continue updating their fraud prevention systems and electronic payment networks, awareness of this process becomes even more important. Because when seniors know how the system works, a small delay becomes far less frightening. Instead of worrying that a benefit has disappeared, you understand that the payment may simply be moving through the final verification stage inside the bank. That knowledge alone can save a lot of stress. But the banking system is only one piece of the bigger picture. Your Social Security payments also follow a specific federal schedule, and understanding that schedule can make it easier to track exactly when your deposit should arrive each month. And this is where many retirees find helpful clarity once they see how the payment calendar works. Now that we understand how bank processing can sometimes affect when your Social Security payment shows up, the next important thing to understand is the actual payment schedule and the benefit updates that can influence how much money seniors receive each month. Many retirees are surprised to learn that Social Security payments do not arrive on the same day for everyone. The payment date usually depends on your birthday and the type of benefit you receive. If you receive Supplemental Security Income, also known as SSI, your payment is typically sent on the first day of the month. However, if the first falls on a weekend or federal holiday, the payment is usually issued on the last business day before that. For example, if the first of the month lands on a Sunday, SSI recipients may see their deposit arrive on the Friday before. Retirement and SSDI benefits follow a different schedule. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your Social Security payment usually arrives on the second Wednesday of each month. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, the payment typically arrives on the third Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the end of the month, your payment normally arrives on the fourth Wednesday. Understanding the schedule helps retirees know exactly when to expect their deposit, which can make it easier to recognize the difference between a true delay and a simple posting difference between banks. Now, let's talk about benefit amounts. Each year, Social Security payments are adjusted through what's called the Cost of Living Adjustment, commonly known as COLA. This adjustment is designed to help benefits keep up with inflation. When prices for everyday goods like groceries, rent, and medical care rise, the COLA increase helps provide a small boost to monthly benefits so seniors can maintain their purchasing power. Over the past few years, COLA increases have been especially important because inflation has affected nearly every household budget. For example, a typical retiree receiving around $1,100 per month may have seen their monthly benefit increase by several $100s over the past few years due to COLA adjustments. However, many seniors still feel financial pressure because the cost of essentials like food, energy, and prescription medications has also increased. This is why discussions in Washington continue about additional relief for retirees. Lawmakers have periodically introduced proposals that could provide extra financial support for seniors, including stimulus-style payments or adjustments to how benefits are calculated for long-term retirees. While many of these proposals are still under discussion and have not yet become law, they highlight how important Social Security remains for millions of Americans living on fixed incomes. In addition to federal benefits, Some states offer programs that help supplement retirement income. Certain states provide property tax relief programs for seniors. Others offer energy assistance programs that help cover heating or electricity costs during extreme weather seasons. There are also prescription assistance programs and senior rebate programs available in some states that can help reduce monthly expenses. These programs can make a meaningful difference, especially for retirees trying to stretch their Social Security income across housing, healthcare, food, and transportation costs. This is where many people find that a simple monthly budget review can help bring more stability. Keeping track of when deposits arrive, planning bills around payment dates, and leaving a small buffer in the account when possible can help protect against unexpected timing differences caused by bank processing. Because at the end of the day, understanding both the Social Security schedule and the banking system helps retirees stay one step ahead and avoid unnecessary financial stress. Now, let's talk about the most important question many seniors have after hearing all of this. What should you actually do to protect your Social Security payments and avoid unnecessary stress? The good news is that in most cases, your benefits are still arriving exactly as scheduled. The Social Security Administration continues sending payments every month under current law, and those benefits remain one of the most stable sources of retirement income in the United States. But there are a few simple steps that can help make sure everything continues running smoothly. First, it's always a good idea to double-check that Social Security has your correct bank account information. If you ever change banks or open a new account, update that information as soon as possible through your official Social Security account or by contacting the SSA directly. Second, keep an eye on your account around your normal payment date. Some banks post deposits early in the morning while others update balances later in the day. If the payment doesn't appear immediately, sometimes it's simply a matter of the bank's posting schedule. Third, stay alert for scams. Unfortunately, whenever Social Security is mentioned in the news, scammers try to take advantage of confusion. The Social Security Administration will never call you asking for bank information, gift cards, or payment to release your benefits. If someone does that, it's a scam. Here's the most important takeaway in simple terms. Your Social Security benefit itself has not been reduced by these banking policy changes. In some situations, the timing of when a deposit appears may be influenced by bank security checks or processing schedules, but the payment itself is still moving through the system. Understanding that difference can save a lot of worry. If you're comfortable sharing, let me know in the comments which city and state you're watching from. It also helps to hear if your payment has ever arrived later in the day than expected. Your experience might help another retiree understand what's happening. Stay informed, stay careful with your finances, and remember that knowledge is one of the strongest tools you have in retirement.
Yeah, grind mode on, can't kill my drive. Turn the pressure up, I come alive. Grind mode on, I don't fold, I don't quit. Hunger in my chest, every beat I commit. Eyes on the prize, no sleep till it's won. World in my hands when the grind mode's on. Wake up with a vision, I'm locked on the target. Turn pain into fuel, I'm a flame, I spark it. No shortcuts here, I embrace every test. Pressure on my shoulders, still I handle it best. I was made for the climb, every loss, every scar. Built me in the steel, now I shine like a star. If the road gets rough, I just double my speed. Ambition on 10, I was born to lead. Grind mode on, I don't fold, I don't quit. Hunger in my chest, every beat I commit. Eyes on the prize, no sleep till it's won. World in my hands when the grind mode's on. They said limits exist, but I shattered the frame. Every wall in my path is just fuel for the flame. Discipline heavy, but my spirit is free. I don't chase success, success chases me. I'm the storm and the calm, I'm the rise, I'm the proof. Every bar that I drop is the grind in the booth. Blood, sweat, tears, that's the code I trust. I don't wait for the crown, I earn it, I'm rust.